Good day to you, gentle person on the internet, and thank you for joining me as we have a look at the Crow's Room. Now, I was very excited. It's another exciting day where I have found a game of a form that I particularly like, because this game is trying to step into the shoes of Rusty Lake. And anybody who's been around with the channel for a while knows that I love Rusty Lake. I actually have a little playthrough playlist of the Rusty Lake collection. So the idea of a game trying to provide the same gameplay service was very thrilling to me. And so I played through this game. I finished this particular one. So I'm not, unfortunately, showing you my initial reactions to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a bit of the game. Now, I'm not going to complete it. No spoilers, no spoiling the ending. And I'm going to talk about it kind of from the context of what I remember of Rusty Lake. And I think that'll be an interesting way to review the game and hopefully provide some interesting critique to the developer. So let's jump in. Let's have a look at it. New game. I return to this room in my dream every night. Since Nana disappeared in the summer of 1926, leaving behind only sorrow and mysteries. Will I ever find a way out? So, Nana has disappeared in 1926, and since then we have been having this recurring dream that we are trying to solve. So can we help this person recover his dream? So we have this pop-up, I think they called it Toast, that it gives us something like a little bit of a tutorial, but otherwise the gameplay is much the same as Rusty Lake. You're given this room where you can look at the four sides, not the roof or the floor though, although you couldn't do that in all of Rusty Lake's games either. But yeah, so you click on objects to interact with them, and then you figure out what objects to use on other things. So click on an object to interact with it. Let us click on this candle, and we take the candle. So we now have a candle in our inventory. We can click on it and try and use it on things, but the candle isn't used on anything here. So now we have this thing here. Intuition uncovers the missing piece. So we need that, obviously has a missing piece. We have a mirror over here. Mirrors are always very, very good in Rusty Lake. You tend to see yourself, and you can actually interact with the mirror in slightly physics-breaking ways. Not the case in this one, but this is just a cracked mirror that we can't see ourselves in. But yeah, I do like the way Rusty Lake compares to mirrors. This is just an empty frame with a black background. We have this thing in the middle that's really, I like this. Of this game as a whole, this felt the most Rusty Lake to me, where you can click on it and it switches the world to raining, and things work slightly differently in the rain than they do in life. So yeah, this is locked, and here we have a fish tank. And this was an interesting puzzle. First of all, on the top right here, we get a picture piece, painting fragment rather, but we can ignore that for the moment. Now, the way to solve this was basically to click and drag it around, and as you can see, the pieces move together, so you have to find sort of the right place where the pieces kind of click together. Oh, there we go. And then the mouth opens, and we're given an eye. Death opens the eye to what was unseen. So now we receive an eye, which is nice. So that's that solved. And then tucked away in the corner here, we have another little picture piece. Now, next part of the room, we have like a balance puzzle. The secret will be revealed when balance is restored. So we need to put things here and balance them. And there are little shadows around here suggesting what we need to put in, like a tooth over there, or an eye. This is a round thing. We have a round thing. It is an eye. So if now we click on it in the inventory, and then like sort of click and drag it over here, we have the eye that we can place somewhere. Let's place it there. And it upsets the balance and things like that. So we need to find another 4 things. A butterfly, I think that looks like a mushroom. I really wasn't sure what that was, and I'll talk about that in a bit because that's quite was quite a difficult one to find, and then a tooth thing. And now we have our the next bit of the room. So we have a bird in a cage, very rusty lake, except that was a parrot. Harvey. Harvey was the name of the parrot. I suppose this is this game's Harvey. It happens to be a vulture, I think. At least it looks like a vulture to me. Nevertheless, we have another painting piece over there. The root remains strong, even in drought. We have this kind of thing where we can click on it and drag it, but clearly it's missing a bit. So that's kind of weird. We can't do anything with this game's Harvey. We have the skull over here, and I will say this is a slight hint of the first real critique I have of this game, is that it often, like Rusty Lake managed to make it fairly obvious when something was interactable with. Like in this case, you can click on this and get the horn off it, but it only works if you click on the horn. Whereas I think in Rusty Lake, if you clicked on this, like the skull, the horn would drop off. You know, so it was easier to find things. Even if the ensuing puzzles were then difficult, it was sometimes easier to find the bits. They leapt out at you a lot more. So I don't know if that's maybe a balance issue or if that's an improvement. I don't know. You'll have to decide for yourself. And then over here, we have a wine glass, very obvious thing that we need to pick up. We have this little smudge on the wall, and it shows us this odd little picture. It's just a little unclear, but we'll see the solution to that in a minute. And then we have this window, and if we click on the window, we go through it, and we find another painting piece. I think we have all of the painting pieces. We have this bird skull on a cactus, and here we have a little trembling, I suppose it's meant to be a fruit. It looks like a mushroom here on this cactus. If we click it, and it tilts, and this makes it like Simon Says, except that the tilt is a little indication of what it's looking at. So it is tilted to this. And if we click on this, it's now tilted to that one. That one goes to that one. That one goes to that one. That one goes to that one. We click on all of those, and we get a snake head. And I really wasn't sure what to do with the snake head, but we'll get back to that. So now we're back to here again. Well, let's look at our painting pieces. Put that there. Put that there. That one there. And we get a mushroom. Some objects can be dragged around. Yeah, so we have something there. I should have read the toast that popped up there. Something about the things that grows in the darkness need to be seen. Something like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to click on it too quickly and get rid of it. Alright, so the mushroom, of course, matches this mushroom, so we can drag it here, and we'll put it there. It's quite heavy, so it does need to be on its own. Heading back, do we have anything here? Oh yes, we have the snake head. I didn't realize this was a snake. I actually thought this was like octopus tentacles and the end of a tentacle had been cut off. But eventually it was obvious that it was a snake, and that pulls that lad up. And now we have another cage door. At least I think this is like a fireplace with a strange lockable door in front of it. It seemed almost kind of grayed out and drawn there, so I don't know if that's meant to be drawn on the wall but it's actually interactable, or if it's meant to be an actual three-dimensional object. I'm not sure there. So yeah, what was the next thing I needed to solve? Oh yes, the antler goes in here. I mean, that seemed fairly obvious once I had the things and I was clicking things around. So we pull that down and we get a rock. Actually, it's a big sort of chunk of crystal, but they called it a stone. And what do we do with the stone? We break some glass. And we get a key, and we get this thing that I couldn't interact with at first. It would be nice if I could have clicked on that and found out sort of what it was. But if we get a piece of glass, we click on it with the glass, we free a butterfly. And the butterfly is gone, but we'll worry about that later. Let's open this. And now we have an interesting thing. We have these books, and I was very puzzled by this book puzzle. It kind of resolves itself a bit later, but it's just fortunate that I came back to have a look at it, because I didn't get the change in the world that was needed to solve this puzzle. Anyway, disregarding the books, we have this thing, and I was like, what the hell is this? It's holding a key. We couldn't get the key from it. So then I clicked here, and I found that that was turning, and then I was like, oh yes, this looks like this. And we see here that this must be in that order, but we also see that this is golden, and she's winking and has her mouth open. So if we go back to her, we can click on that to make it golden, click on that to make her wink, and click on that to open her mouth, and her hand opens, and we get the key. And I thought, done. And then I used all these items as much as I could use them, and I was very, very stuck. And I have to say, I went and I looked at the help video on their page, and I found out that this thing, if you click the hand, the sacrifice redeems a broken heart. So you click on the hand comes off, and you can get the hand. And that was hard to find. And I think that was, there's another thing there. I think it's difficult. It's difficult to draw the line where a puzzle item is a good puzzle because it is difficult versus a problem with the UI, a problem with the interface, something that you could have understood the issue, but because it wasn't evident that was an interactable thing, it made it hard to it. And to me, it feels like if something like that is not obviously interactable with, that's a failure of the game. That's not part of the puzzle. It's not part of the difficulty. So I really didn't like that. And it was the same thing with like I was saying before, with this horn. That like I'm clicking there and I'm clicking there and I'm clicking around and nothing is happening. You have to specifically click on the broken horn. And yes, when I look back at it, there was like a little gap over there to suggest that the horn was broken. And there was a little gap on her hand to suggest that the hand was broken. But it wasn't, again, comparing to Rusty Lake made it a little bit more obvious that was the case. So that to me feels like something that needs a little bit of fine-tuning. So that's kind of my critique there. Look, I could be wrong. Remember, I'm just a guy who plays games on the internet. I'm not any kind of master expert in game design and UI design or anything like that. Although I have had a lot of experience. So judge my opinion with whatever value you want to ascribe to it. But that feels to me like it needs a little bit more obviousness that it is an interactable thing. Like when you remove the key, the hand should shift slightly to say, oh, this is a bit broken. And then, like I said, when you click on the skull, the horn should fall off rather than having to click on the horn. Just make it a little bit easier for the player to find the parts, is my opinion there. The hand obviously matches that thing. I figured it out once I saw it. So also, this is a little bit awkward. I have to kind of like drag it around to get it to work on it. It would have been nice if you could click on the thing and then click on somewhere, or even these shadow bits around here, and then the hand appears in the circle and you can drag it onto the thing, or drag it out of the circle to get it back, because you do need to get these back eventually. Yeah, and I mean that's there's the butterfly there. This was quite hard for me to figure out how to get as well, but I think this was just a difficult puzzle, because you can't just click on it and get it. You need to capture it. Yeah, and look, those are all of the things I'm going to show, because those are the main critiques I wanted to give. I do heartily recommend this game. It was a good puzzle. It was a good bit of a taste of Rusty Lake. I'm going to talk a little bit about the critique now, having finished showing off the gameplay. But yes, I think this was a worthy endeavor to step in those rather surreal but well-worn paths. So bravo, developers, you're on a good line here, I believe, as a Rusty Lake fan. Thank you for showing us this little bit extra of the game. I think this is a really nice game format. I'm very excited by more people making games in this kind of surreal puzzle solving format with a lot of psychology and a lot of deeper meaning behind it. It is a very evocative form of gameplay, of game style. Yeah, like I said, I'm very excited to see someone stepping into the same style of gameplay, of game design. So thank you for that. So if you are just here to watch a bit of the gameplay, please come play this game. This link is in the description. Hopefully that showed you enough to get you excited into it. And thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you like or dislike the game, don't tell me. I mean, you can tell me, but I can't do anything about it. I didn't make the game, I'm just showcasing it. Go and tell the game devs, give them some love on their page. As I said, link is in the description. If, however, you liked or disliked this video, click the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and leave a comment telling me why you liked or disliked this video, because otherwise I don't know why you're liking it or disliking it, and I can't improve my video making. And obviously the comments help engagement, both for me and for you, because that helps train the YouTube algorithm that you like videos about games, if you interact with videos about games. So yeah, thank you for that, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see me look at indie games. I try and do one a day. I might slow down a little bit in the future, but currently I'm doing one a day, and that is a pretty solid stream of indie gaming into your inbox. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. If, however, you are sticking around for the critique, well, first of all, let's skim through, take a look at the UI. We have the quality of life controls and the full screen button, all the kind of stuff I like to see in game controls and for the user. So bravo, full marks there, dev. Obviously, there's some games involve a lot more stuff, but this is a fairly mellow game in terms of graphical intensities and things like that. So some sound controls are really all we need. Artwork, I think this game is beautiful. It did say no AI in the itch.io page, so yeah, this is very, very well done from an art perspective. I like the styling, I like the hint of Rusty Lake-ness. I like the way it looks, I like the way it feels. I think it is good. It's a bit odd because it's a bit more desert themed. Like Rusty Lake was very much mountain lake theming and that kind of styling. This is a lot more kind of desert theming, with everything is dry. We've got dry skulls and things like that, and a bit of obvious bit of desert here. So that's where it differentiates, and I like that. I like the fact that it is a different kind of environmental context. So bravo there, very, very interesting concept. Thank you, and I would love to find out more about the lore behind what's going on here. So far all we've had is the sadness about the death of Nana and the dream that it's been causing. But one of the big things behind Rusty Lake was that it had this deep, complex, multi-character plot that was quite insane, and the insanity was a big part of it, so it was deliberately insane. So I mean, if you want to follow down that path, then yeah, you need to start working on your characters, your identifiable characters. I think that's the one thing I found missing here. I suppose we're drifting from the art into the gameplay, but the thing I found missing is sort of a bit more of a sense of who we are, what has dragged us into this situation. I mean, I know you've told us that we're having a dream after, I'm assuming, the grandmother's death, or disappearance, or whatever. So yeah, let's just escape out of this and see if you tell us anything more. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say who it is. If I reload it, do we get that intro again? Nice little thingy there, studio logo. I like that. Odd ginger, very nice. Let's click new game. I return to this room in my dream every night since Nana disappeared in the summer of 1926. Alright, so Nana has disappeared, leaving sorrow and mysteries, and we're having a dream about it, and we're trying to figure the dream out. Okay, so we have somewhat of a plot there, but we still have no idea who we are, if we're supposed to identify as ourselves in the situation, or like Rusty Lake, we are, you know, the character that was the player, which actually changed between some of the games. I can't remember any of the names, which is sad. I would have thought they would have been indelibly burned into my psyche, but yeah. So one of the drivers behind that game is that the insanity of the puzzles and the setting and things like that were driven by the stories of the characters, and I think this needs to happen here as well. I don't know if the developer has those kind of plans. Yeah. I'm hoping there is. I would love a new context to follow on those ideas. Yeah, the gameplay feeling is nice. In a way, it is insane, but not quite as insane as it should be, which is a feeling I had. Like this. This is good. This is a really, really good puzzle. I like this a lot. But it needs something else. Like the fish's tail should flap, or blood should pool out of it, or something like that. Something startling and kind of shocking, a bit weird. Like the eye coming out isn't quite enough. It does need another element of some sort. And same thing with the painting. Can I get the painting parts quickly? Where were all the parts? One up there, and I think one was through the window, wasn't it? Like I like this. This was a very Rusty Lake-esque puzzle of putting picture pieces on the frame. And a nice picture. I wonder what this art style is of the picture. Is it a specific style? Is it like I don't know. I want to say something like American Indian. What grows in darkness longs to be seen. Okay, it's a nice sort of thing. Yes, go away, go away. Yeah, again, it would have been nice if something had happened to cause the mushroom to appear. I guess body horror is what this is missing a little bit. Rusty Lake had a lot of body horror, a lot of that kind of element behind it, where this has just gone to be strange, kind of dreamlike strange, rather than body horror insanity strange. So yeah, I don't know if you're deliberately staying away from that, or if that's something that you're unintentionally missing. I don't know. Still, it is interesting. It's exciting. There's a lot of talk about death and scary elements that I'm hoping wrap into a broader plot, a broader storyline behind it. And that's it. That is all I'm going to talk about it. I think this is a good game. I think give this dev some support. Let's see this game take off. Let's see the series of games like the stuff that Rusty Lake produced come out with a new, different story. I think it is a worthy competitor to this specific little specialist sub-genre niche, and I want to see more of it. So yeah, so go play the game, go solve it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.